This is Curie and Kelsey at Country Roads Quilt Shop coming to you for another K&K Tea Chat.
Last month we'd talked about how we were setting up some goals and doing different things. So what are your goals for this year with your quilt projects, Carrie?
Okay, so I am thinking, I'm planning to do, I tend to start a lot of projects and not necessarily complete them all.
Those UFOs really get you.
Yes, and I'm trying to decide, I would really like to get 25 of them done in 2025, which is a lot, honestly, because I know that I'm going to be starting new things. I've already started new projects in 2025.
Right.
So, but to get 25 projects off that I had started before the beginning of this year, completed all the way to quilting and binding.
Oh, all the way to quilting and binding.
Yes.
All right, so fully completed, not just a quilt top.
Fully completed, yes. I have 2 quilt tops that I finished in January.
Wow, great. That's awesome.
They're in the quilting queue now. So, yes.
For long arming?
For long arming,
yeah.
Yes. I used to hand quilt quite a lot. I don't have the time to hand quilt as many things as I used to.
I love hand quilting, but it definitely takes me longer. So I have a baby quilt that I'm hand quilting, but if I need it done by a certain date, I'm more likely to go ahead and just put it on the long arm.
And long arm quilting is beautiful too. There's very different forms of art, and yes.
It just depends on if you enjoy it or not. I know we have a lot of people who come in who love hand work. I love hand work, but a lot of people just would rather machine and get it done. So,
and just it's the creativity, right? So
yes, absolutely.
Yes, just depending on what part of it you enjoy. My quilt tops that are ready to long arm. I have, this is a Camille Raskelli, who was like my introduction to motif fabrics and like quilts. She did this pattern called Granny, and I used Fancy That Design House fabrics from Slow Stroll line. But yeah, this is a gift that I made for a friend. I really love how it turned out.
I think it turned out really well, and the gradients with the colors and
yes,
stuff.
The rainbow gradient. I've never done a rainbow quilt before. It just seemed to like when I'm quilting for somebody, I like to like think about them and what they like. And this just seemed to like work. This was, and I really I love how it turned out even more than I thought it would. And then the other one is my Love Drops quilt. Is it down? It is. Yes, last year.
Very themed for the month.
Yes, that's why I pulled this one back out early in the year. I was like, you know what, this is actually, so this quilt is one that I had started last year. I had never done a Valentine's Day quilt before, or anything even remotely seasonal for this time of year. So I had decided I really wanted to, and of course last year, being the last minute person I am, I started like the week of Valentine's Day.
Right.
Gave myself like 48 hours to cut out squares.
Okay, there is something fun about sewing a seasonal project during the season. You just know it's not going to be ready for that season.
Which is okay.
But you got it ready for this next year.
Possibly. We'll see. If I don't procrastinate on my binding. But I won't. So, so it was just fun to cut that out. It was like a free project online. I combined Lighthearted by Camille Raskelli with I Love Us from Sandy Jarve.
Oh, yeah.
And they just worked really well together.
That's great.
It was outside of my wheelhouse as far as I don't typically do a lot of exclusively red and pink quilts.
Right.
Like, ever.
Right.
But yeah, I like the colors of it really well. It just ended up being a really fun, it's a seasonal project and not my usual, but just a really fun
Actually, I would say here at the shop, we've been having a lot of fun with seasonal projects for Valentine's Day. Because you finished that one as a personal project, but we also, we have class coming up on Wednesday. That is a pre-cut kit to make this.
Oh, do you need hands?
I think I got it.
Okay.
So, which just makes it really fun, easy to put together, but super cute if you want a Valentine quilt.
Yes.
And this is using that magic dot.
Yes.
For Lila Boutique.
Yes.
And then it's also some of that Sandy Gervais fabric. With the reds and pinks. So that's really fun.
It's cute.
And it's just, heart quilts are just really, really pretty.
That looks like the same kind of hearts that are in the quilt that I just made. They're just fun to, they're super simple and fun to put together.
Yes. And it's fun to put together. You have a heart quilt at the end, which, I mean, you can use during Valentine's Day specifically, but you can use it at other times of the year for sure.
Yeah, hearts can definitely be an all year round.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then that one, like I said, we're doing it as a class. I think we'll probably make up some kits for it too, just because it's really fun. So
yeah, because we're just talking about I Love Us, which we just apparently really love. There's the other little thing that Becky projects a lot today.
Yes.
That she created this based on a design that I think Bev McCullough had put on her blog.
So I think it's a fat quarter shot free pattern actually, but we designed ours to look like Bev McCullough's version because I love the fabrics that she chose. She used this cute little plaid just in the spool for the O, like different things like that. I just liked the way she did it.
Yeah, so super cute.
So we made up some kits for that to look just the same as that sample, and just a really a fun little wall hanging or a door hanger or whatever.
I feel like Becky put it together in an afternoon.
Oh yeah, I think
it went together super fast, and it's just sort of seasonal and
cute.
Yeah, like if you like sewing seasonal projects, like
absolutely,
that was just a fun one to put together.
I actually have finished a quilt in January.
Really?
Completely. Like we got it quilted, and it might have technically been quilted, but I got it finished. I finished the binding in January. It was for one of Ethan's coworkers. And so it wasn't at my house very long. I could put a picture up, but I can't show you the quilt because it was a baby quilt, and I got the binding done, and then I sent it with him to work the next day. So I didn't get to enjoy it being done very much because it was a gift, but that's okay. I love making baby quilts because it's so fun to just share a quilt, but they're also smaller, so you can get a project finished and feel like you've accomplished something.
Yes.
And I don't think I fully completed a quilt top yet. I have one that's finished other than borders. So, but I think I want to piece some borders. I'd originally been just planning to do like solid fabric borders, but I think I'm going to piece a couple of borders for it. So I'm kind of like playing around with how I want to adjust the borders. So I haven't fully finished that one quite yet because of that, but I think it'll look really good once it's done, especially if I piece it. So.
Nice. Okay. So let's jump into 2025 plans. I know you said you don't have any.
Okay, I don't have goals, I would say, like your 25 work in progress.
I happen to know you have a 2025 goal.
Well, it's not really. I'm doing Sherry McConnell's block of the month.
Oh, a quilting life
year. Yes. Is so much fun. So I don't know if you guys have seen Sherry's video. So it's a quilting life, and she did a video, I think it was the first Monday in January, talking about her block of the month for this year. This is the first block, so it's a little
super cute
6.5. It was a 6-inch finish house block in the center, and then the log cabin around. And I love that you can sort of tell what this block of the month will look like because it's got the log cabin.
Yeah. And
the 6.5-inch block is really cute. Now, her block was supposed to finish at 18 inches. It's a very large block. I cut mine down a little bit. Mine is 16.5, so it's still a large block. But I just like the proportions. Instead of cutting my strips for my log cabin at 2.5, I cut them at 2-inch. So just cut a little bit off so that the proportion, that the center block is just a little bit bigger in the log cabin.
I think it turned out super cute.
And I'm using mostly Heather, thank you. I'm using mostly Heather Briggs of My So Quilty Life, but I have blended a couple other things in there. Like this is a Lori Holt gingham. This stripe is from Between the Pages. And I wanted to add in some blues. I'm using mostly Flower Girl, which didn't have a lot of blues in it. But I wanted to add in some blues. So I actually pulled some Ellie from Brenda Riddle.
Yeah.
So I pulled a few of those because this is one of the Heather Briggs blues. And I just thought these blues from
they coordinate
Ellie
really well.
Just fit in really nicely with everything else.
We have said before that Heather Briggs is like a young Brenda Riddle vibe. Like,
yeah.
Like
I really love the pastels.
Just that modern take on the soft colors of Brenda Riddle, I feel like. Yes.
Yeah.
We love them both.
Yes, I really do. We have several of both of their collections in here, and Heather Briggs, let's see, she's started designing with Moda.
Spring of 2024 was her first line, Flower Girl, yes.
And I just love it.
And both you and I have sewn out of it.
Yeah, I think, aren't you working on a Heather Briggs project
too? I do. Actually, I sew along with her quilt-alongs. So she does those sew-alongs for when her lines come out. The current one she has going is the Flower Shop, which started in November. So this will count for my whips.
There you go.
So this one, hers does not run from the beginning of the month to the beginning of the month. So technically, like this month, we don't get the next, like we don't start the next blocks until I think Valentine's Day, February 14th. So, but so far, like, you know, I'm 2 weeks in, and I have done a couple of my little tulips. I love this little flower shop. Her stuff is just so cute, and I love the way she pieces it just so much. The colors, and then her entire design and vibe is very much right down my alley. Yeah. I loved her flower stand block of the month, and yes,
I think we made kits of that one. Too. And I think we have a couple of those left too.
Yes.
So
yeah.
If anyone wants to hop in and make a quilt with Kiri, it's definitely doable.
No, I loved her.
Is that one of the ones on your list to get done by the end of the year?
Yes, for sure. Well, this one I'm hoping to stay like right along with her so long. Okay. So it started in November. I think it ends in maybe May. Also, she's got a block of the month this year. Okay. And her block of the month is sewing machine themed. I think she does a block of the month.
Really fun.
Yeah, I'm dropping stuff. So January's block for me is this like vintage style sewing machine.
I love that Corey Yoder fabric on here. Oh, yes. It's really cute.
Thank you. This is a mixture of Corey Yoder fabrics with some Heather Briggs fabrics. I've got some Brenda Riddle like right here in my background for my quilt square, and a little bit of Fran Gulick from Riley Blake Designs right there. Because this blender it blended so nicely.
Yeah, it has like a little bit of the color.
Yeah, I just pulled the colors out so well, but I just really like this block of the art. Yeah, this is really cute. And
I like the vintage style. Does every month have a quilt block that it's sewing?
So yes, she has two options. You can do a seasonal, like for the January block, of a January themed piece right there, or a star. I'm going with the star. I like the seasonal ones too. I just like the cohesiveness of having an entire quilt of sewing machines with stars. Right. So yeah, it's super cute. I really, really have enjoyed this so far. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I didn't realize until I started sewing this that I apparently don't really have gray in my stash. Because I got it, I had it basically all the way together, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I need a sewing machine needle.
Which is like a tiny little piece.
It's like that 3/4 of an inch one. Like I don't even have a 3/4 inch piece at my house.
So you apparently need to invest in some more gray.
I have. Okay. Not only did I have this Brenda Riddle gray in my stash, I also got a little bit of grunge, because grunge is a basic you really just can't go wrong with as far as, having a little bit of grunge in my stash will be used.
Grunge is amazing because I feel like it can really go with the traditional or the modern look, and you can just really blend it into whatever you're working on. It goes really well.
Yes. Being who I am, I have another sew along block of the month that I'm working on.
Just one?
Yes, just one other one. Because I'm not considering this flower shop to be necessarily, it's not a full year. Right. Although, to be honest, the next one isn't either. So Riley Blake Designs does their designer challenge. This is the 5th year they're doing it. And this is the first year they've actually showed us what the final quilt, like their setting for the quilt, which makes a big difference to me. Yeah. I do love a good mystery quilt, but it does require you to trust a little bit that, like, hey, you're going to put in some time, and then you're not really going to know what you're going to come out with. Right. Which sometimes is just a fabulous surprise, and sometimes you're like, I don't know.
Well, that's something I liked about the Sherry McConnell one, is that I can tell it's the log cabin. So it gives me an idea of what I'm doing, even though I don't really know what the block's going to look like.
It's like perfect blend.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So this one, Riley Blake did put up their finished setting, and I loved it. Yeah. So I've been sewing along with that. That's more like a block a week, but they're small, like, well, it's not bad.
Well, it depends on how big the blocks are. How big are these blocks?
They're 10.5 inches unfinished.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
They're really not bad. So it started out with Lori Holt. Because January we've had 3 blocks. So you have the Lori Holt.
That's cute. That's really cute.
Just a little flower block. It is.
I love the eyelet on there too. It's really cute.
So all of my fabrics for this quilt along have been from Catherine Linus. From Riley Blake Designs, her Honeycomb Hill line. Okay. When we got that in, it's actually been a little while, but I loved it, and really I always wanted to use it. So I'm like, this is like the perfect project in my mind. It's a Riley Blake designer and a Riley Blake sew along, so I was like, hey, this is gonna be a good chance to these fabrics are just working great. This is the Lori Holt background, and then I did pop a little bit of eyelet in there, just because eyelet's such a great basic. Yes. And there was no green in the line, so I needed to pull in a little bit of green, and eyelet was like my go-to. So I had the Lori Holt block right there. Week 2,
blocks for
was Bev McCullough, who's another one of our favorite Riley Blake designers, and she did this.
Which is super cute.
It's like a twist on a pineapple, and I love the pineapple block. It is a favorite of mine as far as traditional blocks. It's not
your fussy cut little honeycomb.
Yes, my honeycomb that I fussy cut in the center.
Or beehive, whatever you call it.
Oh, you said... Sorry. I'm just repeating what you said.
You're fine.
Yes, the beehive center that I did. I had fun fussy cutting that to fit right in the middle of this block, which is also, I like it really well. I love the cerulean blue and this pink like together. It's just
Yeah.
And then this most recent block. All right, this is not it. I mean, it is. But Jennifer Long did the 3rd week's block, and her block is beautiful. Do not get me wrong. I do not dislike her block at all.
Yeah.
Watch me double negative there. I like her block, but I just felt like in the whole, because everyone else's block went like to the top of the, like it covered the entire 10-inch space, and hers just seems kind of dwarfed.
Okay.
It took me a long time. I was like looking at it being like, why am I not loving this block? Because it's a cute block. And then I realized, okay, it's because it just seems miniature,
a little larger.
Comparison-wise, right?
Right.
On its own or in a different setting, I think I would love it. So I went back, since this is year 5 they're doing it, and I found other blocks that Jennifer Long had also.
Okay.
And this is her block from 2022. And
So
I just
same designer, just a different block.
just the different blocks.
Yeah.
I've never sewn a long before, so I found a different Jennifer Long Riley Blake Designer Challenge, and then this is my 3rd one.
But those all look so cute together.
Thank you. I've had a ton of fun with this. Week by week, every Tuesday the block comes out, and so it's been a lot of fun. This one will finish though. Like it's not an all year commitment. I am done in May.
Okay.
Assuming that I stay on task.
So you've got 2.5 years and then 1 year long.
2.5 years. Oh, well, yeah, that's assuming that I don't jump right into Heather Briggs.
Oh, okay, because you already have all the pieces.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I have really thought about starting Corey Yoder's block of the month, too, because I loved the January block, but I want to get a better idea of what some of it, like, what the quilt's going to look like we were kind of talking about with mystery quilts and stuff. So I thought I might wait until, like, March-ish when her A Bloom line comes out, because I love that collection. And so I was considering that if I wait until her fabric collection arrives, that I'm so excited for, that maybe if I've liked the 3 blocks, which I'm sure I will because I love everything Corey does, that I might start it then and then go ahead and do her block of the month as well.
Sure. Becky just brought in her quilt that she did with Corey's Sew Along last year.
Yes.
So pretty. So pretty.
Corey did a scrappy, like use up your scraps, Irish chain variation. So it's like one of those, is it a 3-string Irish chain?
It's like a scrappy twist on an Irish chain. Yeah. I'm a little bit...
It's really cute. But my mother-in-law started it by just using them as her leader fabrics, that she would just be sewing her blocks together as her leader. So she got a good bit of the quilt pieced before she really started piecing that particular quilt, which was really fun. And she brought that in, finished, and it's stunning.
It is gorgeous.
So,
do you have any like tools or things that you find yourself constantly being drawn back to using over and over?
Honestly, yes. I have a few that are like, top mark things, but one of my absolute favorite tools that I use so often is this little seam guide. And it's like such a small ruler, but I love this tool and I use it all the time. The Creative Grids one is my favorite. I have some from other brands that are like a very similar tool, but the Creative Grids like grippy texture on the back is just really great. I use this a ton for half square triangles, but I also use it for like stitch and flip corners. So like for my flying geese unit, to make this house top, like I use it for my marking and stuff. And it's just a really great, just a small ruler. It fits in my little bag of notions and I can just take it with me anywhere and I use it constantly for marking.
Actually, the fact that it's portable is nice because I find myself using my 6.5-inch Creative Grid is like probably, that or the 4-in-1 triangle. Those two are ones that I use fairly constantly. Like I'm like ones I just want to grab and I want them close to, I think I even own more than one of each one. But they're not like, I can't just shove them in my little package, in my little pouch and go, right? Like that is a highly portable, just very usable.
The idea that you can't, like, I can fit this in my purse, I can fit it in my little Notion bag, I can fit it just about anywhere and it can go with me and it's just a great tool to have. My 6.5-inch ruler is another one of, like, I use that so often and I use that one a ton for this too because the 6.5-inch center. But yes, this is probably one of my top tools that I use constantly. And this is the 9-inch version. There's also a 15-inch version.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're doing a lot of like layer cake projects and stuff, having the 15-inch is nice to have around.
Yeah.
But I like the 9-inch because, like I said, it's that portable.
It is.
You can just take it with you.
It's nice that there's a version for like the big blocks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you ever made a big block quilt?
You know, I don't think I have. Honestly, this 16.5-inch is probably one of the largest
Quilt blocks.
That I've done, because I'm more likely to do, honestly, I'm probably more likely to do like more in the 6 to 10-inch, not even probably quite a 12 is more common for me. I am interested in large block quilts to some extent, as it's an interesting idea to me. But yeah, I don't know that I've done one. How about you?
I don't care this. Like, I will go big block or small block. Either way, just depending on what the overall quilt project looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like my sewing machine blocks are, you know, it's like twice the size of my really like designer blocks, and I, you know, working on either one of them, I really enjoy.
Now that I think about it, I think Lucky by Camille Raskelli, when I made that quilt pattern, I think those blocks are probably considered a big block. So I think they're a 14-inch.
Don't know.
What makes it a big block? That's the next question. Because big to one person is not going to be big to the next. So.
I feel like once you get over your 12-inch standard, you're in the bigger, at least bigger, I don't know, it's fully a big block. Right. Like 18 inches and above, definitely a big block.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mind. Like ones that are like 24 inches and stuff. I think that Lucky might have been 14-inch blocks. Okay. So
I'll still call them a big block.
Yeah.
Not the biggest of the big blocks. A big block.
So do you have any tools that you particularly love? I have been using a lot.
I do. So like I mentioned my 6.5-inch ruler. I also use the Creative Grids one, which I love, love, love. I have been using, you discovered these one year for Quilt Retreat.
Yes.
So this little 6.5-inch grid, no, I'm sorry. Don't listen to me.
Mat.
It's 8-inch mat. So this little 8-inch mat is...
It's 6x8. You had it.
Is amazing though. I find that it's portable. So like when I'm just trimming like pieces and things, it sits beside my sewing machine. I actually want 2 of them. The other thing I do with this though is I put it on top of my big mat, because I feel like I can wear certain spots of my mat out.
Right.
And this little guy is really, it's a super thick, great mat, and he's not very expensive.
Right.
So like I tear up him, and then my big mat just stays nicer so much longer. And I don't remember where I got that tip from, but since I started doing that, I'm like, oh my goodness, yes.
So if we're going to talk about things that we love, we're drinking tea, and I would love to know what kind of tea you're drinking.
I am drinking Baroness Grey.
Okay.
So this is
that a favorite?
It is a favorite. It's one that I love. I get almost all of my teas down the hall at the tea shop.
Yes.
In the center. They have just marvelous tea. Baroness Grey is the one that I love. My favorite are their British favorites menu. It's those black teas.
Yes.
And yeah, this is just one that I really, really love. Actually, the little teapots. Like that, came from them too.
Yes.
So, another thing that I really love. I also love drinking my tea out of a teacup.
Yes.
I'm not opposed to a good mug, but teacups just elevate the experience.
I love my mugs. I have so many mugs that I love, but there is something that's, makes you feel very classy if you're drinking out of a teacup.
Elegant. And
I don't know, there's something about having your own personal pot of tea too. Yes. That makes you feel like.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little mini pot. It's like having an oversized mug.
Yes,
essentially.
Truly. Yeah. I love this teacup too because it's got, I don't know if you guys can see the ship that's on it. I actually have several teacups that have ships because nautical stuff is just something that I absolutely love and how long have I been? Like 20 years at least, probably?
Probably, yeah.
I got really into like nautical sailing history and it's just still something that I'm very, very interested in, I guess would be the phrase. So I have several teacups, t-shirts, paraphernalia. Fabric, yes.
That's why we have Janet Claire's Longshore line in the shop, right?
Yes, absolutely. Janet Claire was actually, when you were talking about, you got introduced to Camille Raskelli, Janet Claire was one of my first like moda designers, and things like this that I just loved, like blue and whites, the sort of minimal kind of artwork to it, but really just pretty, and I love this kind of thing.
Yeah, she's a British pen and ink artist, I believe, too.
Yes.
And she creates gorgeous, gorgeous things.
Fun fact about Kelsey, one of my first quilting books I ever had was actually a Janet Clare book that she had a bunch of like applique and other projects in. And I think it was called Hearty Good Wishes. And just a really fun book, and I still have that, and just love it. So.
Yes, it's a fun book.
Yes.
Yes. Will you ever make anything out of it?
I haven't yet. Right now it's been sort of a collector piece, you know how that is. But there is a pattern in there for an applique of the British Isles, and I just think it would be really fun to have like a pillow with the British Isles on it. In the like the navies and white kind of tone, and then also one that's like the U.S. I just feel like that would be something really fun that I would definitely put into my house. So.
Sure. The other thing with Janet Clare lines is we have people ask not infrequently for lines that don't have as many florals.
Yes,
like we love a good floral, and florals are like a staple in the quilting world as far as fabrics. But sometimes when especially if you're looking for more masculine, trying to make something more masculine, you don't always want that just really strong floral presence.
And the thing about Janet Clare stuff is it's very neutral. Like it's not like it's got hunting stuff on it. It's not like it's got flowers on it. It's just it can go either way. You can put it in whatever project you're working on.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, new arrivals in the shop.
So one of our newest things that I'm super excited about is that we just got in a new Peter Rabbit collection called, I think it's called Peter and Friends, and it is so darling.
Yes.
So it's got not just Peter Rabbit, but all of the Beatrix Potter characters.
Yes.
Or not all of them, but several of them.
Yeah, this is just darling. It reminds me of a line that they had done back when, I don't know, 15 years ago or whatever. We had these like squares like this, and we had done them with log cabin, like scrapping log cabins around them, and made like, I don't know, at least 3 baby quilts.
Yes.
They were so darling. I find myself wanting to do that again with this. It's just so cute.
And I love how there are multiple characters. So if you're a fan of Beatrix Potter, even if you're not, but it's got Pigling Bland, it's got Tom Kitten, Jemima Puddle Duck, Benjamin Bunny,
Jeremy Fisher's up there.
Yeah, Squirrel Nutkin, like so many of the characters that we know and love, and just so perfect for any baby quilts. And you can do it with a boy vibe or a girl vibe.
Yes.
And just really embrace that.
Yeah. Do your kids have a favorite Beatrix Potter book?
You know, I think it has changed a few times. For a while it was Jemima Puddle Duck, but more recently it's been Benjamin Bunny.
Okay.
Benjamin Bunny has been a favorite. I would say the kids definitely rotate through what book is the favorite, and it'll be like a favorite for sometimes up to a month.
Okay.
And then it never like completely goes away. Like it definitely still gets pulled out, but it's like there's always one that's like the focus book for the moment.
Yes. I also went ahead and pulled out when I was just looking at that because I had forgotten that these panels had arrived too.
Yes.
So Fancy That Design House has done, and we just love her.
The scripture that she puts on hers, her artwork is beautiful. You can just make a really nice either quilt or wall hanging.
She's got very rich jewel tones throughout her work, and it's just really pretty. And then this is the panel that goes with the chapel pattern that's been so popular.
Yeah.
We have it up. We did it up in the Christmas fabrics, but then this is the non-Christmas version.
Which we have a few kits of the chapel.
We do
pattern with this panel.
Yeah, because Moda kitted it up this year, particularly. Yes. So fun, so beautiful, so pretty.
Yeah, and the beautiful verses. I think some of those are scripture verses and some of them are hymns. Which is just really, really nice.
Oh, one more thing, because it's on the bottom of my pile. I have my clapper. Talking about things that I love.
Yes.
So this is something that it's a tailor clapper, and I had never tried one. I had seen one I could see them used like online and different things.
Lori Holt used them for years.
She has, and I watched so many of her videos, and then I was like, you know what? I want one. So I bought one from here, and I've been using it all the time. I do not use it on all of my seams. That being said, like with my Heather Briggs sew along, everything is just sitting so much better with all the little like stitch and flip and the 1-inch pieces. Like to be able to press that and then stick this on it, it's just making, I love it.
Yeah, because especially when you have a particular spot that has a lot of seams coming into it or a fabric joint, it can really make a difference. Just like that little bit can make a difference.
I like the weight it sort of uses to hold the seam in place, so I'm not stuck there like holding it myself, the pressure, and I just love how it kind of like the heat, it sort of draws the heat back up, sort of sets it just so nicely.
Yeah.
And now I want like 5 more. When you chain piece, you're kind of like, I'm going to chain piece and I want to chain iron, you know, all of my little clappers there in a row. But yes, this has been a really fun new to me find that I've just really loved using this month. So
That's awesome.
In 2025.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, we could go on, but we won't.
Yes.
So let us know below if you have any 2025 goals you'd like to share, or if you've done anything fun for Valentine's Day that you think we should try, because obviously I love a good last minute seasonal project.
Something we can have ready for next year.
Absolutely. So we hope your 2025 is off to a great start and full of creative joy already. And we'll see you next time.
Happy quilting.
Bye.